I'm going to start this off, since I'm the man of the hour, the man of the show. I want to ask LeBron, what does he mean by there's no party like a Diddy party? I truly want to know. And not only that, LeBron, how many Diddy parties have you actually been to? I'm really curious to know. And is that the reason you left social media? Because all the backlash you were getting for going to so many Diddy parties? It's just pathetic, man. People think this guy's a role model. He wants to defund the police, the most patriot people of America serving and protecting our country. LeBron, you're a fucking scumbag, and I hope you get locked up in the same cell with Diddy.
Well, Colby, nice to see you again. A bit of a historical moment for me. I've never seen someone streaming Media Day on Colby Chaos TV at the same time as we're asking you questions, so that's a bit of a history for you there. Talk to us about this fight, how it got made, what made you accept a fight with Buckley, and the journey on how you got here.
Yeah, so I called the UFC when Bilal had a pager on his foot and he backed out because I guess the pager exploded on his ankle and messed up his toe, which is just weird. You guys need to ask Bilal, why is he wearing pagers around his ankle? It's just weird. But so he pulled out of the fight. So I called the UFC and volunteered. I wanted to fight Shavkat. That was the fight I wanted. I think he's all hype. He hasn't fought anybody of my level, an elite fighter in a 5-round fight. So I was excited to fight Shavkat. But the UFC had already had other plans and said, hey, we're going to do the other fight with the cuck, Ian Gary. So, they wanted to do that fight. But they're like, hey, but we need to fill this main event with Joaquin Buckley at Tampa. He's not a star. He's a bum. He's a nobody. So we need someone to sell this show. Can you be a company man? Come do it. I said, absolutely, Hunter Campbell. Whatever you need, man. I'm a company man. I love this company. God bless the UFC. God bless America. But what a great opportunity to fight my home state and defend home turf in Tampa, Florida. 3 hours up the road from where I live in Miami, Florida. So, it's just a beautiful opportunity. I'm excited to be here. Thank you, UFC.
Joaquin says that you guys have met before, and there was a time actually before your fight with Usman, the first fight, that he asked to train with you, and you sort of the rounds never came to fruition. So he says you actually have somewhat of a relationship from back then. Do you remember those days when you were training together?
Yeah, I offered him to train. He'd come train in strength and conditioning class with me. I'm like, hey, come jump in conditioning class with me, man. I got no issues with you. He wasn't in the same division at the time. He was at 185. So, I told him, hey, come on up, do some conditioning. And, I have no problem or beef against the guy. So, yeah, we trained together. Nothing wrong with that.
Feels like a rare occurrence for you these days, not having beef with the guy you're about to fight. He must be quite refreshing for you.
Yeah, he's a young up-and-coming hungry guy. He hasn't been on my radar. I never expected to cross paths with this guy. I expect to cross fights with the biggest and best names in the sport, the world champions, the big guys, not up-and-coming hungry guys like him, younger guys. So, it is refreshing. I have no ill will towards him, but Saturday night, I'm definitely going to have to take his win streak.
For you then, is this the perfect opportunity to remind everyone that actually you're still one of the best in this weight class, and this guy is a hungry, rising talent that you can prove, like, hey, he's good, but he's still not as good as I am at this level?
Yeah, absolutely. People have been trying to trash my name for too long when I fought the best fighters in the world for, 8-10 years straight. So this is my opportunity to come out, beat a young, hungry, up-and-coming comer that's on a long 5-fight win streak and, has a lot of hype behind his name and, explosive hands. So it's an opportunity to bring him to the deep waters in the main event spotlight and show the world that I'm still the best welterweight on planet Earth.
You did mention them before. Ian and Shavkat did fight last week. I'd be curious to get your take on how they both performed. And, Ian wasn't very nice about you in the lead up to that fight, said you'd never fight him, etc. I wondered if you have any response for him as well.
Yeah, he's a cuck. He sits in the corner while his wife gets dogged out by the nutritionist. Isn't that just weird? Like, I don't know why more people don't, talk about that. It's just disgusting that he brings the last name of your wife's ex-husband. It's just fucking strange. And, my thing is, hey, he does nothing for my career. What does he do for me? He's an absolute nobody who's beaten nobody. So I told him, hey, if you want this fight, just answer the 3 stipulations. Turn on your comments. Your wife wants to be so famous so bad. She's quoting Shakespeare, which is just weird in itself. And we know how much weird shit goes on in Shakespeare about fucking cousins, fucking family, all the weird shit they do. But, hey, you want to be famous, make a video begging for the fight. And then if you really think you're going to beat me, agree that if you lose the fight, Your wife has to be in my video for BC game, and we do an America's Pick of the Week for the people. He couldn't, he couldn't answer, and he couldn't meet the stipulations, so there's no reason for me to fight him. He's a bum. I mean, the fight's never been offered, but I can tell you one thing. I have the power to make fights happen. I can go to Hunter Campbell. I can go to Dana White and be like, hey, Dana, hey, Hunter, I want this fight. This is the fight I want. This is the fight that makes sense. This is what the people want. But he couldn't make those 3 stipulations happen, so I don't have time for him. He's irrelevant. He's a nothing. He does nothing for my career. Beating him will do nothing. So, here we are against Joaquin Buckley, and Saturday night's going to be explosive.
You don't think at one point you'll fight Ian Gary?
If he meets those stipulations, all he has to do is turn his comments on. Like, why is he so sensitive with the fans? All he has to do is have his wife make a video. She loves making videos. She's making videos to Sean Strickland, trying to quote Shakespeare like she's so smart and this and that. She loves to put herself in the limelight and act like she's a part of the business. So, and then if he's so confident, let's put a risk on the table. If you lose, she's got to do a video with me for my new sponsor, BC Game. Otherwise, I don't have time. It's just a waste of my time. He's a fucking cuck. I don't want to fucking go with a cuck. Who knows where his hands and his fucking whole body, what type of fluids are on him and shit. Like, it's just disgusting.
And on the other side of that, what'd you think of Shafkat, like, as far as his performance? And now it looks like he's going to fight Bilal Muhammad. So what did you think of his performance, and what chances do you give him against Bilal?
I didn't watch the fight. I was too busy, doing some other things, doing some streaming on my new Twitch for BC Game. Shout out to all my fans out there on Twitch that were live streaming, watching me right now. Got a lot of love for them. I got bigger things to do than watch these up-and-coming nobodies that haven't accomplished anything in this sport. They have no merit. They haven't been in title fights like me. They haven't won world titles like I have. So, I heard it was boring. I heard his stock went down, and he got exposed. He was all hype. He's got all finishes against all nobodies. He beat the busboy from Outback, the Outback Steakhouse that serves bloomin' onions. Like, how prestigious is that? So, that's why I volunteered to fight him. I volunteered to fight him on 3 weeks' notice. I called Hunter. I wanted that fight, but instead, I got pushed into this fight. Not pushed into it. I'm happy to come and save the day for the company. I love this company. I'm a company man. Love the UFC. It's such an honor to fight here. And, this is the true excitement in my life when I get to come fight for the UFC.
And what do you think is at stake in this fight against Buckley? He says that he's going to go out there and pull off a knockout of the year, finish you, and then leapfrog Shafkat. Do you feel like sort of the same thing is for you? Like, if you do something spectacular on Saturday, maybe we're talking about you in a title contention?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's always in title contention. I'm the biggest name in this sport. There's no stars in this division. It's a bunch of bums, a bunch of fucking guys that have about as much charisma as the wet mop in the corner. So, I'm the superstar in this division. I call the shots. I am the champion. Everybody knows I'm the king of Miami. So I think after Saturday night when I convincingly beat Buckley, I'm next in line for the title.
Buckley says that he thinks that you took this fight because it's the last fight on your contract, and it just kind of worked out that way. What's, I guess, your standing with the UFC as of now?
Yeah, that's fake news. Before my last fight, I signed a new 5-6 fight contract. I'm a lifetime UFC fighter. I'm not going anywhere, and I never will. Even if it was the last fight, I would never leave. Like, I'm staying here in the UFC. I love the UFC. They've done such good business for me. They brought a kid from a small town in Oregon that had nothing, a blue collar family, a suburb area where I came from, into a multi-million-dollar athlete. So, I'm super thankful to the UFC, grateful, and I'll be here forever. I'm not ever going to entertain another organization or going and doing these gimmick fights. I'm not about that. It's not about the money anymore. It's about honor. It's about respect and paying respect to the company that gave me everything. So, UFC, I'm a lifetime UFC fighter.
Just a couple quick ones. I know you go well prepared for these fights. Joaquin Buckley has been killing it at 170. He's 4-0. What have you made of his rise at welterweight? Has he impressed you? What have you made of his wins and his skill set?
Yeah, I mean, I've never watched him fight. I honestly,
not even in the lead up to this fight.
No, not even in the lead. I never watched my opponents fight. Like, why would I worry about what they're going to do? They got to worry about what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring the bedroom cardio to the octagon on Saturday night. And I could tell you, a lot of mamacitas in Miami have been slayed in the last couple weeks in the lead up to this fight. So the cardio is going to be on point. We're going to blow the roof off the arena. It's going to be electric. And, I got some special guests in attendance that'll be walking me out. It's going to be a memorable night. So not really worried about what he does. He's going to have to worry about what I do.
Who are these special guests?
I wish I could tell you. You know, I don't kiss and tell. You know, I gotta keep it a surprise. I gotta make it a bigger deal. So, you know, it's gonna be a good one.
You said you don't kiss and tell, but you just told us you slayed half the women in Miami.
Yeah, but I didn't say names. And you know, I could tell you the celebrities and all the people that are in my DMs and all the women that I've been with. But you know, I'm not saying names.
And lastly, I don't know if you've seen some of the fan chatter, but like after your performance against Leon Edwards, a lot of people said, well, maybe we just saw sort of the best of Colby. He's already in the past. He's past his prime, this and that. How do you feel about that chatter? And how do you feel personally after having gone through this training camp? Do you feel like you're still an elite welterweight?
Oh, I know I'm still an elite welterweight. People don't realize, if you go look at the media day from before that fight with Leon, you know, I tried to go do a training camp in Breckenridge, Colorado, because the altitude is like 9,000 square feet above sea level. I ended up getting HAP, which is high altitude pulmonary edema. It's altitude sickness. So I came into fight week on Monday with bad fucking altitude sickness. And people don't realize that. If you go look at the media day, I couldn't even talk. I had freaking phlegm coming down my throat, couldn't breathe. So already going into the fight, I was compromised. And then in the first 30 seconds, I throw a kick. I break my foot in 3 different places. So that's not a reflection of who I am and how I fight. You know, I was just compromised. It wasn't my night, you know, and that happens. It's one fight. You know, I've had, you know, 21 fights, 22 fights. So you're going to have some hiccups here and there. You know, I had a lot of adversity that I had to face in that fight. So Saturday night, I look forward to proving those doubters wrong and silencing all my critics.
Colby, over here to your right. Saw a comment from you, sir, recently that said right now you're currently in the best mental place that you've ever been in. What was the process of getting to that place?
You know, just forgetting about the chatter, you know, not paying attention to anything or anybody's opinion, you know, because everybody has an opinion in this world, and most of the time they're like assholes. They stink. So, you know, just letting go of everything and just becoming free again and just being who I am, surrounding myself with positive, good energy. You know, I got new coaches around me, a new team around me. So, you know, I got people that are really uplifting me and giving me energy that I didn't have before. So I feel better than I've ever felt. I'm in my prime. I'm 36 years young. I trained smart, you know, through the years. I didn't spar heavy where my brain's going to take a lot of damage. So I know I still have a lot of great fights in me, and the best is still yet to come for me.
What was the process like of constructing that team to make the best Colby?
You know, I had to go find a good new striking coach that was going to give me that positive energy and have the time for me. You know, the old coaches, you know, they were busy with their family, and, you know, they had other fighters that they had to attend to and go to fights overseas. So I needed someone that was going to really be there for me, for Colby Covington Incorporated, in my business, in my event, especially on a short notice fight like this, 3 weeks. You know, I needed them to be there every day and train on my schedule at nighttime, you know, to simulate when the fight's going to be at, to acclimate to that time. And so, you know, and then I brought in a great fighter, Roberto Soldic. I think that guy's the future. He's a fucking absolute specimen. He's been the greatest training partner I've ever had in my career. So I'm very thankful for Roberto for coming in and coming all the way across, you know, from Europe to come train with me on a day's notice. And, you know, he's giving me the best look. He's a way better version of Buckley. He would literally knock out Buckley in seconds. So, you know, he's been a great training partner. I got my coach, Charlie Weiss. He's been one of the greatest assets I've ever had. Just great energy, always looking out for me, doing things for me. You know, I got my advisor, John Hartnett, who's been with me since the beginning, and he does a lot for me. You know, I got my new boxing coach, you know, he's a 2-time Olympian from Nigeria, Albert Irmasel. So, you know, he's a great coach. Just great energy, just people that are uplifting me. And, you know, I got some surprises guests also for Saturday that'll be walking me out. So we got a great lineup, and everything just feels like it's clicking right now. And I feel like I'm going to put on the best performance of my career on Saturday night.
With the amount of high-level fights and intense training camps you've been in, is there a benefit to this one as a short notice and you don't have to put that wear and tear on you?
Absolutely. You know, I know most fighters are scared to take short notice fights because they think they need like this 8 to 10 week training camp to prepare to really get their mind and body in the right place. But I feel like these short training camps are smarter and better for you because now you're not putting as much wear and tear. You're not as worn down mentally and physically from the hard training over the weeks. So I feel good. I feel fresh. I feel rejuvenated. And I feel like this is the way for the future. I feel like guys should just stay ready all the time and take short notice fights because then you're not going to beat your body up from sparring and training for an 8-week, 10-week training camp.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, buddy.
Colby right here. why do you, like, you talked about the sickness that you had before the last fight and obviously the injury in the first 30 seconds. Why do you think that people specifically talk about you and they conveniently leave those things out? They just say that Colby's past it and all these things about you, but they don't talk about other people in that division. Like, if other people in the division were to go out and get an injury or something like that, I feel like they would mention it. But you specifically, it's, oh, Colby's past it. Like, why do you think fans look at you that way?
I mean, I'm just the easy guy to hate. I feel like when people, put hateful comments to me, either in the media or fans, it's just, that's like to get woke points. That's to get, extra points for them. So, we know all the MMA media hates, the greatest president of all time, Donald Trump, who literally saved America in our last election, who's going to put America first again and, American values. So God bless Donald Trump. He, another guy who's inspired me in this training camp to see his work ethic. He was like in 3 different states every day, like doesn't sleep, literally sleeps an hour or two, and just he's serving the American people. He put his family, he put his business in jeopardy to put America first again and to put this country first again. So super thankful to Donald Trump and the inspiration he's given me, and could care less about everybody's opinions. They love to beat me while I'm down or take shots at me, and it's all right. That's okay. Like I love criticism. I love people talking. But these same people talking are the same ones that can never walk a day in my shoes. They've never done anything. They have no accomplishments in life. They're literally sitting in their mom's basements eating Cheetos and trying to tell me, oh, he should have thrown that kick. He should have done this right in the fight. Okay, well, if I should have done it, why don't you come out here and do it if it's so easy?
And then kind of going back to the beginning there, I'm not sure if they mentioned it or not. You said Joaquin Buckley's kind of a newer guy. You don't have too much to say about him. He was in here and he kind of told a story. He said he offered to help you train for a fight against Kamaru Usman. Was there any truth to that?
No, there's absolutely no truth to that. I don't know why he's making up lies like that. He just looks stupid by saying that. That's actually very dumb of him to say. Like, I'll tell you the honest truth. He came to the gym and I said, hey, you want to jump in conditioning? We can do some conditioning together. And that was that. We never trained. We never did anything. So he wouldn't have been a look for Usman anyways as a southpaw. So it doesn't really make sense. I don't know why he would make up that lie.
And then you were on Twitch and kind of talking about how there's still no love for Kamaru Usman. You called him a cheater. You called him a coward. Is there ever going to be a trilogy fight somewhere down the line?
I hope so. I really want that trilogy fight. There's definitely unfinished business there. I mean, every single fan when we walked out of Madison Square Garden the second fight knew I won that fight. They said, hey, how did you not get your hand raised? Like, they were all just like in shock and disbelief. He won 1 round. The second round was his round. Okay, you got 1 round. It's a 5-round fight. So, I know I'm better than Kamaru Usman. Like, the first fight we fought, with the food poisoning going in and the bad reffing. I was fighting 2-on-1 that night. Mark Not So God was stopping. I kicked him in the liver. The guy was done. He literally caught him in the liver. His organs were shutting down, and everybody knows when you get hit in the body shot in the liver, it'll shut your body down. And it doesn't matter how tough you are mentally, you will shut down. He was ready to shut down. They gave him a 5-minute break. And then these pushing me, Mark's pushing me like, oh, calm down, Colby, calm down, grabbing me, taking my energy away, like, completely took my focus out of the fight, that first fight. But the second fight I won, the trilogy fight needs to happen for sure. If he leaves and we never get to fight that trilogy, then, I'll have that over him, that he didn't want to fight me and I was a better fighter than him. So, I hope it happens. I think that's a fight that needs to happen.
Just real quick, just have one regarding Trump. I don't know if you saw, but a couple months ago he said, I think in August, he said that Khabib was his favorite fighter. I don't know if you have any reaction, any comment on that.
He didn't say that Khabib was his favorite fighter. He just asked who are some of your favorite fighters, and he had saw Khabib the weekend before, so he's giving a shout-out to him. We want good relations with Russia, so, it made sense to go that route. We want peace in the Middle East. We want peace around the world. We don't want Russia going after Ukraine. We need more peace. So I'm happy. He has a lot of great fighters. He has a lot of favorite fighters that he likes. I know I'm one of his favorite fighters. That's okay. He invites me to Mar-a-Lago. I was sitting next to him on election night. He's introduced me to Elon Musk for Thanksgiving. Actually, Barron Trump did that, but shout out to Barron Trump. He's the absolute future of this country, man. Thank Barron Trump so much. Guy's so smart. He talks like a freaking just 40-year-old intellectual, just freaking top of the class student. So super thankful to know Barron Trump and have got to share a conversation with Elon Musk. And I asked him, hey, are we going to go to Pluto? Why can't we go to Pluto? And Elon started laughing. He's like, Colby, Pluto's way too far. But I can tell you that we're going to put 1 million people on Mars. So I was like, wow, Elon, that's so awesome. And, he was just talking about who my favorite fighters were and this and that. And it was a great Thanksgiving trip with Donald Trump and the family at Mar-a-Lago. So, shout out to Donald Trump. He's literally put America first, put everything on the line for America First policies, and he's peace through strength. He's literally, you see the way he treats these world leaders. They respect him. They bow down to him. They know when he walks through them, he's the man, and America needs to be feared. This guy that we had in the office was literally a puppet, and he was senile. He doesn't even know where he's at most of the time. He's like looking around like, oh, where am I? World leaders are like carrying him off the stage. I mean, it's pathetic. Now we have a strong leader back. Donald Trump's going to make America great again, and he's going to make this country greater than it's ever been.
Hello, sir. Recently, you've verbally attacked Khamzat Chimaev, but if we abstract from his personality and life outside the cage, what can you say about him as an MMA fighter?
Dude, he's an absolute scumbag. The fact that he rug pulled all his fans, that's the most disgusting act I've seen in the MMA ever. Him and Khabib, like, just absolute scammers. Like, dude, you're making enough good money with the UFC. Now you're going to rug pull and do a fake mem coin and scam all your fans for millions of dollars? I mean, these are fans that are working their asses off every day at McDonald's or low-income paying jobs, and they're investing in them because they trust the fighter and they like their fighter. And for him to just shit on all his fans like that, it's disgusting. I mean, that's why he's cum shot. The guy's literally fucking, just the worst person on earth. It's so sad that he did that to his fans. So, as an MMA fighter, I don't think he's anything special. I think that, he got exposed in that Gilbert Burns fight, that he doesn't have good cardio. I thought Usman beat him, when they fought. If that would have been 5 rounds, Usman would have beat him for sure. But I thought Usman beat him 2-1, so I don't see anything special out of Chimaev. He needs to stop fucking scamming his fans.
And a quick one from me, I'm just curious. What's more important to you, winning in Octagon or your popularity outside the cage?
Winning in the octagon, dude. This isn't about popularity, man. I don't do this for popularity. I do this, to be the best and to leave a great legacy. I want people to remember Colby Covington, a fucking century from now. I want this name to echo through people's minds forever, and to tell stories about how great of a fighter I was and how fearless and how I went against the grain. I'm doing something that no one else is doing. Everybody likes to complain about me and say this and that, but they haven't done what I've done. They haven't killed what I've killed. So, if you want to be a star in this division, you got to make yourself a star, and I've done that.
Thank you.
Hello, Colby. I want to know, what is your opinion about Ilia Topuria as a fighter?
Yeah, he's a great fighter, man. He's knocking people out. He's exciting. He's fun to watch. I think he's a great young, hungry guy, and he's a dangerous guy. I don't think anybody's going to beat him in that featherweight division. So, shout out to Ilya. He's been doing great, and great branding and great gimmick and character that he has. Coming from his country, and just a great fighter overall.
Colby, I know you and Jon Jones have had quite a history. What did you think of his performance and him leaving New York with the heavyweight title?
Yeah, man, Jon has some fruity tendencies. I think the media needs to look into some of the fruity things that he does. It's very strange. But I can tell you, I know that he has been with some women, because I remember in college, he always used to get the fattest girls in the school. I'm talking 300 pounds plus. And he knows deep down inside, this is not a joke. He knows deep down inside, I know his dark hidden secrets that are in his closet. So he's been with some of the just fattest, just 300-pound slobs. It's disgusting. I mean, dude, Jon Jones is an absolute fucking disgrace to this earth. He's a fucking joke. I mean, yeah, you beat Stipe. Stipe, respect to Stipe first off, because he's a first responder, and he puts his life on the line for the people and for his community. So shout out to Stipe. He's, the greatest heavyweight of all time, but he was past his time. He shouldn't even have been there, man. He knows he was old, and he was just showing up for a paycheck. That's not the Stipe of old, that was in his prime anymore. So, I don't think anything special that performance. I think Jon needs to stop ducking Tom Aspinall, just like he ducked Nagano. He ducked Nagano for years. Now he's ducking Aspinall. So he doesn't want to fight the guys he knows he's getting his ass whooped against. So I don't think anything special to Jon Jones. He's a fucking coward. He's a cheat, and he's a woman beater. He needs to stop beating his wife and leaving her bloody in Las Vegas hotel rooms.